These are 10 historic paintings that clearly depict UFOs within them. Number 10, The Annunciation of St. Abydos of 1486. This painting was done by artist Carlo Crivelli, and it shows the Virgin Mary right before she realizes she will give birth to Jesus Christ the Savior. Most historians and critics say the round opening in the sky, casting the beam of light, is the Lord projecting his halo onto Mary. However, many ufologists claim that the disc-shaped anomaly was actually an alien craft projecting its beam of light, and that casting the beam of light is consistent with alien encounters by witnesses today. Number 9, The Crucifixion of Christ, Kosovo, 1350. This hangs above an altar in a monastery in Kosovo. Many claim that it clearly depicts two craft, one in each corner of the photo. What's more is the craft actually has beings inside, and it seems as though the one on the right, which is depicted here, is looking back at the one on the left. Above is the suspected UFO depicted on the left side of the painting, and it seems as though the being inside is operating some sort of mechanism to control the craft. Some historians claim it's simply the sun and the moon, but regardless, if it is, there's some being in the sun and some being inside the moon. Number 8, The Baptism of Christ, 1710. This picture was painted by Dutch artist Aert de Geld in 1710. It shows a disc-shaped craft shining beams of light down on the baptism scene of Jesus below. Geld was a very keen student of Rembrandt. Many believe that this would have given him access to Vatican's art archives, meaning that he would have been able to find the secret knowledge. Some scholars agree that many of Geld's paintings seem to be clearly depicting this secret knowledge to the public, especially this one. And the fact that there are 4 beams of light emanating from the object rather than one means just that. It's an object, not a divine being. Number 7, The Madonna with Saint Giovannino from the late 1400s. An obvious visible craft is seen at the top right of the photo. There's even a man standing below it, looking at it, along with his dog, barking at it. Rays of light seem to be shining from the craft, and many believe that Madonna's position with her back to the craft is her protecting the children from it. Number 6, The Triumph of Summer Tapestry of 1538. Though some critics say they are odd-shaped clouds, many believe that they are craft due to the bubbles on top of them. Zooming in confirms this. They seem to be flying saucers with domes on top of them, and there's a being below them on the hill. Check out part 2 to see the rest of the works that depict UFOs. 10 historic paintings that clearly depict UFOs, part 2, 5 through 1. The following paintings are located in the Notre Dame de Beaune area of France. They are Renaissance works from the 15th and 16th century on display there. As you can see with this painting, up in the corner, a flying saucer with a bubble or a dome on top. Number 4, we have the Miracle of Snow, painted by Marcelino da Palicale. This displays the event known as the Legend of the Snowfall that happened in Rome on a hot summer's day in August, sometime in the 4th century. It's said that while the townsfolk were investigating this anomaly, Jesus and Mary were sitting on a cloud looking down on them. As you can see, there are many disc-shaped clouds, and they're pretty uniform. Experts believe that they could be ETs because oftentimes weather anomalies come with the sightings of UFOs. Number 3, The Glorification of Eucharist. Scholars believe this was painted by Ventura Salimbeni in 1600 after being commissioned by the church. It's said that the painting either suggests alien life or the possibility of time travel. Some people believe that the globe-shaped object between Jesus and the Holy Father is actually a monitoring device. They say it's either that or a telescopic device, given the little lens at the bottom of the globe. Experts also say they believe they are each holding on to some sort of antenna to watch over and monitor the people of Earth. Also, how it possibly represents time travel. Here you have a veil, and inside that you have some sort of globe around what seems to be a ball or planet. But most importantly, notice what it's sitting on. It looks like a TV with a radio frequency or wave going through it. Pretty crazy. And here up top you have Jesus and God with the antennas trying to get it to come in. Interesting. Here we have Israel's Put Your Hope in the Lord painting. It seems to depict a disc-shaped UFO above a burning church. The painting currently sits in the Dominican monastery in Romania. The location is near the notorious city of Transylvania, which was once the home of Vlad the Impaler. Historians argue that it's just a shield, but most think otherwise given that there's a smoke trail following it and it looks as though it may be crashing. Finally, number 1, the Crucifixion of Christ displayed in a cathedral in the country of Georgia. Similar to the one in Kosovo, there's one craft in each corner of the painting. If you look closely, you can see little beings inside and seems to be thrusters coming off the craft. So is it possible these paintings are displaying UFOs? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Alright y'all, I want to talk about something that has to do with my previous videos. So the pictures that intrigued me the most were the ones that were depicting Jesus' crucifixion. And there wasn't just one, but there was a couple different paintings from different parts of the world that depicted two aliens or two possible crafts that were in the sky while or after Jesus was crucified. One being a bluish color, possibly representing the moon, the other a reddish orange color, possibly representing the sun. The reason I'd like to talk about these pictures in particular is because I have some information or have studied some information in regards to those particular scenes. Okay? Those of you that have been following me for a while know that I've talked about a certain occurrence that took place back in 2003 when the Pentagon, using geodesic satellite radar, which is a ground penetrating satellite radar, they used it and they swept essentially the entirety of the planet. Now obviously this is for entertainment purposes only. It's not absolutely verifiable, but it's pretty sure it took place. So when they used this ground penetrating satellite radar, they noticed some odd structures that were shaped like domes within massive mountains. And I said plural, mountains, right? There wasn't just one or two. There were similar structures within these mountain ranges that spanned the globe in different areas all over the world. For example, Tibet, Romania, Egypt, Baghdad, apparently Antarctica, just to name a few. One of the only places that they didn't really disclose any information on one of these being there was the Americas. That's probably for a reason, but I do believe there is one here somewhere. You're going to want to stay with me. After finding these structures within the mountains, the first one they explored was the Buseji Mountains in Romania. And what they found there, absolutely mind-blowing. Super advanced tech, large tunnels, essentially made by giants, and basically what they call the Great Gallery, which is a library that discloses and displays in holographic image the complete history of Earth and mankind. Also, virtually every living being that has inhabited this planet up to this point. A witness that was there to watch this display said that he could not disclose the origins of mankind because it was too intense for the mind state that humanity is currently at. They eventually dated this gallery to up to 55,000 years ago. And it was a super advanced society that created it. And in the middle of this projection room or gallery, there were 3 massive doors that led to tunnels. One said Tibet, one said Egypt, the other said Inner Earth. Well, long story short, they put together, they being U.S. and Romanian government. This was actually before we even associated with Romania. After this, they quickly joined NATO, and of course, then relations with Romania took a turn for the better, obviously. We started actually associating with them for this reason. So they put together a 16-man team that was to explore each tunnel. Well, they explored them all to the Giza Sphinx, Tibet, then Inner Earth. And they did say that the Inner Earth expedition was a success and diplomatic relations were met. Now, let's get back to what I wanted to talk about with the whole Jesus thing. Very intriguing, very interesting. Obviously, like I said, this is entertainment purpose only, so it may or may not be true, but it's a cool story nevertheless. So, check it out. So they finally make it to the Giza Sphinx in a tunnel that's only 30,000 years old. So the tunnels in Romania are actually older than the ones in the Giza Pyramid or Giza Plateau. They find a projection room and something below it. So after seeing virtually the history of mankind, the ancient builders of the pyramids, how they were built, virtually mind-blowing stuff to this gentleman, this witness. He couldn't believe how off the history that is presented essentially was. He basically says that the history as we know it is mostly inaccurate, but he did say that the myths, lore, and legends that have been passed down from mankind from generation to generation is accurate. Pretty funny. So after that, he ends up in this projection room. He sees a 2-foot tall crystal that is cut perfectly, and it's so pure of a crystal you can damn near see all the way through it. Then he sees a little cylindrical like area or machine that he can sit in, and it's basically like a helmet that he can put on, and his general told him that basically he could astral travel. And it's his consciousness traveling, not his body, but he can travel through time. So he goes to the crucifixion of Jesus. He first sees Jesus giving a speech. He has the crowd totally basically enchanted or in awe of his speaking ability. He said when he gets there, in his consciousness, Jesus actually looks at him. So he can see his astral self, his spirit, essentially. But he follows everything to the crucifixion of Jesus. And he said he's not the only one there doing this in astral traveling to see him. That there's a number of different people there that are time traveling, but they look different, so they have their faces covered. So long story short, basically after they crucified Jesus and hit him with the spear of destiny, he passed away. Then they take him down from the cross. Shortly thereafter, the clouds darken and lower to just above the heads of the people, and lightning starts. Then a massive earthquake takes place. Across from the ravine, a large landslide takes place. So 2 disc-shaped crafts emerge from the clouds, emit a beam of light, and a screeching sound. The people scatter and they cover their ears because it's so loud. The crafts slowly go over the city and then leave. So what I'm saying is the pictures are accurate, I think. More on this later.